Now
ready?
we are. Now we
We're
are.
on. Okay, welcome to another edition of, no, the first edition of Mark's Inspirations podcast. Tonight's topic is going to be life's challenges as a teenager. I have my special guests here, Henry and Paulina. Henry, how old are you?
18.
Paulina?
I'm 14.
14. Okay, tonight we're going to discuss what it's like to be a teenager, the challenges in this changing world today with this high-tech information and constant, everything is new, everything changes. Every year we have something new and something different. Even before you've learned how to use the last iPhone, they come out with another one with all kinds of new things on it. That's to say nothing about the constant download of information that we get every day through signs, billboards, newscasts, media, everything. So we will talk about that tonight and how you can deal with these challenges and the best way to confront them. So we'll start off with Henry. Henry, what is one of the most challenging things that you run into, let's say, on a daily basis?
I would say one of the most challenging things is finding people that are like me, really. I mean, hanging out with people who are more outgoing and want to do things, because anybody who I've hung out with before in the past, they have trouble being outgoing because of it's so easy for them to stay at home, play video games, and not have to be social, you know?
Social anxiety. We hear a lot about
That's a
that
big
these
thing.
days. Do you have any friends personally that you know that suffer from this new,
Yeah, I
this
have.
new, I don't know if to call it a disease, whatever it is, social anxiety?
Yeah, I have a couple friends who struggle with that. They don't go out much, so it doesn't help, you know? They don't talk to people. They don't put themselves in uncomfortable situations to help them grow or get out of
Right.
that shell that they're
Right.
in. So
And you mentioned people that are like you. What do you mean?
Well,
in what respects?
I'm more of an outgoing person. I like to talk to people. I like to do different things, stuff that makes me uncomfortable, and there's not a lot of people like that. They don't like to, they like to stay in their comfortable little bubble.
Comfort zone.
Their comfort zone, exactly, yeah.
And
but-
Paulina, what do you experience this? Do you have friends that suffer from social anxiety, or,
I have a
or
lot.
what's your challenges that you?
It's kind of like Henry's thing. It's hard to find people like that are kind of like me. So,
Now, when
I
you
like-
say like you, in what respects do you mean?
like, I like going out, like going outside, hanging out with friends and stuff. Like, cause I can't really do that anymore, cause the whole can't
COVID,
go to the
yeah.
pool. But friends that like actually like to go out and have fun, have the people that I talk to, they just like sitting around and playing on their phones or playing on video games, and they just don't do anything. They
Yeah.
just lay in bed all day.
Being in their comfort zone, like you
Right.
said.
Well, what kind of social events do you go to, Pauline? I mean, where actually people actually get together besides school. How do your friends get together, or how do you get together with them?
So like usually going out to eat or going to like Six Flags or something that's like outside, like Six Flags, water parks, or like if it's snowing or something or it's cold, we go ice skating or something that involves like being outside. But now people just sit on their phones, they don't want to go anywhere. That's pretty much it. Like on
Social
4th
media becomes their lives, you
yeah,
know?
so like
It's comfortable.
4th of July, people just like people usually have parties and they hang out and stuff, but other people they just sit around. They don't do anything. So I like people who have parties so I can go to them, like little small get-togethers,
Right.
because then that's how like you meet
can
other people.
socialize.
You socialize.
Yeah.
You meet other people that you don't know, like other people's
Make
friends.
more friends, yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying a lot of people substitute real life interactions with their phones and their messaging
Yeah.
and FaceTime and all these
Yeah.
things, which is not the same.
It's not.
Yeah, there's something about seeing people face to face, eye to eye. And how about you, Frank? What do you think of that? Frank's our sound man here. You
Our
can't
tech
see
guy.
him. That's Frank. Frank, how old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay, and what do you think about this social anxiety? I know you're a man that gets out and runs around a lot. You do a lot of things. What were you doing last night? Doing flips over
Oh yeah,
top
I
of
was doing
exploding firecrackers. So Frank
Yeah.
is very daring. and he likes to go out and be an adventurer. So, what do you think of this? People that stay behind their phones or their computers and are afraid to get out, or they have this social anxiety.
Well, I think it's this thing that a lot of people have to overcome because I only have one person, and that's that one friend that I have that comes out with me like when I go out all the time. But people just like sitting inside and like sitting on their phone. But like at one point, they're gonna realize that they're gonna get sick, and then like you're gonna sit inside all day. Like you're not gonna be able to go outside anymore because maybe at one point something else will happen where you're gonna be stuck inside all day and you're gonna get so tired of it.
Right.
And like going outside and getting some fresh air is always good for yourself. And like I go outside every day. Like I go out and play like every single day, basketball court.
Yeah.
I play with older people, like my
Right.
age people all the time. Today I was out for like 4 hours playing, and yeah, I don't really, there's not many people that I hang out with that go outside.
So the majority of people, or kids, people your age, teenagers, stay at home and don't come out like they used to. They don't get enough exercise, you think, and then also there's a lot of I hear a lot about depression in youth too. What do you think, Henry? What do you think that causes this? We seem to have a epidemic of depression among
Yeah.
the youth here in the U.S. What do you?
Well,
what's
I
your
personally-
opinion about that?
I believe that depression comes from mainly if you stay inside, you're cooped up in your dark room, and you're not doing anything, you're not achieving anything. You're not going out there and chasing your dreams, doing something to make yourself a better person every single day.
Yeah.
And when you're not following some type of goal, or you're just cruising through life, you get depressed. You're not doing anything for yourself. You're not
Right.
becoming a better person.
Right.
Like one of the things is talking to people every single day, new people, anybody, someone at the gas station, someone's walking on the sidewalk. Doing that takes you out of your comfort zone, and that could be a goal for you too, getting out of your comfort zone, talking to people, and that can help with depression.
Right.
And another thing too, screen time, being on your phone 24/7,
Yeah.
that can make you depressed. Anything, TVs, computers, being on that all the time. You're sitting in one place, you're just looking at a screen, and you're doing nothing but no activity, no physical exercise, nothing. So you get depression from stuff like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Polly? What's your opinion on why people are suffering, younger people suffering from depression?
I do think it's because people sit in their room all the time and they don't go outside. The whole getting sun. I think it's vitamin D or whatever.
Yeah.
Is really actually good for you. Like it's a good thing to have, and I know that because when I felt really bad, like I had a headache for a couple days, it was because I was sitting in my room all the time playing on my phone and not eating good. I was eating junk food all the time. I wasn't eating any
Right.
fruits. I wasn't drinking enough water, and it sucked. It really did. I honestly thought that there was something wrong with me. Like I thought that I was genuinely sick, but I was sick, but it was because of where my mindset was and what the room I was in.
Right.
It's just there's no actual light coming in. It was just my LED lights and my phone. It wasn't good for my head. It was
Yeah.
giving me really bad migraines.
So you think it's, of course, the food you eat. You need to get out in the sun. We
Mhm.
need more activity.
Yeah.
Do you find it challenging to eat healthy today?
Oh
Yeah, it is.
It can be
And
hard.
Why is that?
Well, one of the main things I personally believe, I know actually, is it's hard to eat healthy because the healthy food is 10 times more expensive than the junk. You
Yeah.
could get a soda for 50 cents and you can't get a water. Water is like $2-3
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah,
Yeah, big soda. too,
Yeah.
one of those
You can
like
get
at
one of the
school,
40 ounces.
And that's the thing too. It's just like you get these supersized drinks, and then you got all this cheap food, and you could get McChicken, for example, for $1.
Right.
So let's say you have $6, you get yourself a
Yeah.
nice big old large soda and 2-3 McChickens, and you eat that. That's the thing too, is it's so junk. You feel worse after eating something like that compared to if you ate I don't know, some you like the dates,
Yeah.
You eat those. I know those make you feel better than if you were to eat like a chocolate bar or something like
Right.
that. There's no fiber or anything like that
Yeah.
in those. They have no nutritional benefits, you know,
value.
anything like that. Yeah.
That's how it is at school. If you like want like a chicken sandwich, it's free. Like you don't have to pay for it. But if you want a salad, it's $1.50.
Right.
Mhm.
And chicken sandwich is a process.
Yeah, it's
similar to
just-
what you get at McDonald's.
Yeah, it's just 2 buns they buy and
Yeah.
Yeah.
already cooked.
And
chicken.
well, most of the time the patties are like frozen.
Yeah.
They just unthaw them, you know, warm them
Yeah,
up or whatever, and then stick them on a bun, you know.
Right.
And the thing is too, it's like the buns they're not anything either. They have no nutritional value. They have nothing compared to like something that's
Or
has
white
grain.
bread, right?
yeah,
White bread.
yeah, or something that has whole grain or something
Yeah.
like that, or and then the fruit they serve too isn't really. I personally believe I don't think it's like real fruit. It's processed.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows all the stuff they spray on it to
Right.
make it
Yeah.
grow better, keep the bugs off and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Like ever since COVID started at school, they spray the apples and stuff with
Right.
like disinfector.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
So it doesn't. They don't taste good anyway. But like that
That
doesn't.
probably
that
doesn't
doesn't
help,
make it
yeah.
any better. Like
Yeah.
their carrots are just carrots, but like the fruit, like the strawberries and stuff, and their they have nothing. They don't taste like anything.
Right.
They-
Right. They look good, but there's no substance.
Like
Mhm.
at school, like the trash guy, he would always take the apples out of the trash can if no one ate them,
yeah.
and he'd still serve them.
Well,
He'd
he
let
would
the-
clean them up
Oh.
and serve
he'd
them
clean
again.
them
Yeah.
up and
Really?
serve
Yeah.
them again.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah, but and another thing too is it's like I remember when I was in school, and I had money in my account, and I would go actually buy something. It would be junk. They have like chips, sodas. They have
Rice
I never
Krispie
had that when I was in
treats.
school. You didn't have a
Yeah.
choice.
Uh-huh.
Either you brought your own lunch or you had what they served.
Mhm. I mean, you're better off to bring a peanut butter jelly sandwich than eat this food that they have there
Yeah.
because it's all bagged stuff.
Yeah,
That's,
they used to serve peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but since people had allergies, they just stopped
yeah,
serving
that's
it.
another thing.
Now,
Yeah.
do they cook food there? Actually cook or
No,
No.
they warm stuff
They
up.
just
like,
really. I mean, it's mainly frozen stuff.
See,
That
when I was in, they actually cooked food.
Mhm.
Big.
yeah, like
pots
at
of
school,
food.
if you want like nachos, like the chips come in a bag, obviously,
yeah.
and then the beans come in a bag.
Yeah.
Like they're just beans that come in a bag, and they warm them
Yeah.
up and just throw
Yeah.
them on there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you can. I mean, they have like vegetables and stuff like that, but even some of the stuff that you put on, it's such a small portion, and on top of
Right.
that, it's not real. Like, let's say you could get an apple or something from Kroger's compared to an apple from Walmart. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know, it's an actual apple.
like how
Yeah.
you got avocados the other day. From
Yeah, well, I got
Walmart.
avocados from Walmart, and the next morning they were rotted. They were
Yeah, I know if you want to buy organic, it costs a lot more.
Yeah, and then you bought an avocado and it's in the fridge and it's been like 3 days and it's still not bad or anything,
Yeah.
and you got it from Kroger.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between those two.
Yeah,
stores.
I find there's a lot of difference between Walmart food, Kroger food, Deerbergs, and Schnucks.
Mhm.
Deerbergs and Schnucks is even, I find
More
that to
high
be
quality,
better
yeah.
quality food. Walmart serves its purpose. I bought a lot of food
Yeah,
from Walmart.
yeah.
But I'm just
Then again,
particular about what I get there.
Walmart's not really a full like fruit place. They sell clothes there.
Yeah,
like,
they have
Yeah.
a lot of different
Mhm.
options.
It's
different
Yeah,
stuff.
they
yeah.
provide a lot of products for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Definitely.
And what do you think, Frank, about the food in school?
I can't tell you how many times that I ate that stuff and wanted to throw up
Oh,
after.
come on. Wasn't that
No,
bad?
like, okay, so
The milk is good. I see that.
The
comes
milk
in
is
nice
good.
with
the
It's
milk,
good.
yeah, the milk's good. But
I used to drink the white milk because after you drink the chocolate milk for a while, it starts tasting weird. Sometimes you drink the chocolate milk, you look in the bottom of the container, and it's got like goopiness
Kinda
down
Yeah.
chunky.
there. Kind of
Kinda
chunky
thick.
sometimes, yeah.
yeah, actually, I got one time when I was in school, I got a chocolate milk and I opened it and it was expired.
Yeah, some of them just don't. They're
And
not
I
right.
took a drink, but I didn't swallow it because I could feel the
Right,
clumps,
right.
and then I spit it out, and I was like, "That's disgusting." But the burgers that they have at the high school, those are all warmed up,
Yeah,
and
I've
like
I've seen those.
the
Yeah.
bun is soggy.
Yeah.
Like the bottom of
Well,
the bun gets
another
soggy,
thing too, the pizzas that they serve there are greasy. I mean, full of
Oh,
grease
yeah.
because
packed with grease.
even after they warm them up or whatever they happen to do with, I don't know what they do with pizzas. I know like the nachos and stuff, the meat, they just warm it up. But the pizzas are filled with grease. I mean, you put a napkin on it, the napkin is soaked.
It's because of the cheese. They put like 2 inches of cheese on top of it. It's so bad.
Well, I guess they're just trying to serve something you guys don't
Yeah,
like.
yeah, that's
But
true.
We'll move on from the food. I'm sure they're doing the best they can there. But another challenge I think for kids today that I see that really was not a big deal when I was younger is this bullying.
Mhm.
Everybody bullied. I got bullied. I bullied people. It's just kind of how it was. But now I see they make a big deal out of it, and I'm not saying it's not a big deal because with the internet and the messaging, it really can.
Yes, yeah, the cyberbullying.
Yeah,
yes.
cyberbullying, it can really be a hassle and more detrimental to someone's feeling of safety. But I know in school that they had told me about when I talked to the principals and different things, they said that what they tell you is to, if someone starts hitting you or pushing you, that you're just supposed to cover up.
Yeah.
Now, I told the principal, I said, well, I'm not telling my kids to cover up. I'm telling them to defend themselves if someone starts hitting them. And the principals actually told me they would tell their kids the same thing, but if there's a no-fight policy, so you get kicked out.
Either way, yeah.
Can you tell me what your experience that time you got kicked
Yeah.
out? Actually, Henry got kicked out and put in jail, juvenile detention, for defending themselves. Will you share with us what happened?
I was in band class one day, and there was this one kid that sat next to me. He was just kind of messing with me and kind of started bothering me, and I told him, I told him, if you don't stop, I might end up hurting you.
Was he hitting you or actually?
Yeah, he was hitting my leg, kind of punching me a little
Right.
bit. And the teachers seen him do it, and all they did was told him to stop at first. Well, then he got caught again by a teacher's helper, and again they told him to stop. They didn't move him. They didn't.
Right.
So I was sitting there, and he kept hitting me, and eventually, I finally got tired of it, and I ended up assaulting him. I guess you would say. I hit him.
Right.
And
What'd you do? You punched him in the nose?
punched him in the nose.
Bled all over the place.
Yeah, there was blood. I scooted back a little bit, punched him in the nose one time, and he started bleeding. And I got in trouble. I got put in cuffs, and then they took me to the juvenile detention center.
Put you in handcuffs.
Yeah, they put me in handcuffs, and they took me to the juvenile detention center, and I stayed the night there. But then they let me go the next day because they found out the full story.
Right. So
He
you
was-
were arrested for defending yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is it's like I did everything I could as a student because I couldn't personally get up and move myself.
Right.
Because
and you
we had
told the teacher.
the teachers,
twice
yeah.
or
Well, the
once?
teachers had seen it. I told the teacher that if he didn't quit hitting me, that I was going to do something about it, and they didn't move him. They didn't tell him you need to stop.
Yeah.
They didn't send him to another room, and I eventually ended up hitting him. Well, after I hit him too, he was like, "Oh, it was a
Right.
joke. It was a joke." So
But you and him are buddies today now.
yeah, as soon as I came back the next, I think it was about a week or so after I got back. We're friends now.
Right.
We're good buddies.
And see, that's what I don't understand today is like when there was a guy named Mike that moved into our neighborhood. I was probably 8 or 10 years old, and he beat me up. And then one of the older guys in the neighborhood that lived there, as long as I had, beat him up. And then we all ended up being buddies. We all played together, played flashlight tag. It was just kind of how it was growing up. And there were a couple other bullies that were somewhat, were kind of mean, but they're still living today, and I go talk to them, and it's just the way it was.
Yeah.
We still all played football together, and we all had a good time together.
Yeah.
But now it seems like it's been so magnified, or they've focused on it so much, they've made it into it's just grown into something that I really don't understand.
Well, yeah, and see, that's the thing. When I was in elementary school, going through middle school and stuff like that, they told me that if I was getting bullied, I should tell the bully how I feel. Tell them that, oh, well, it hurts me when you call me this name and that. But when you do that, which I've seen multiple kids do this, when they end up telling the person how they feel, they're giving power to the bully.
The bully feeds.
Yeah, he feeds on that, and then he'll pick on him. He's like, oh, he's talking about how he feels. He's weak, he's soft, or whatever happens to be. I've seen
Right.
it just doesn't work. You can't. The bully just feeds off of that, of you being, I guess, softer or weak, whatever happens to be.
It's been my understanding that until you stand up to a bully, they will not stop.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not advocating fighting, but sometimes it comes down to,
Yeah.
if they're hitting on you, you have to defend yourself.
That's exactly how it was for
And
me.
even if you lose, I've found out that they don't bother you again as long as you stand up
That's
to
true.
yourself. But that's what seems to work, or the only thing that I've seen to work.
Mhm.
Now, Paulina, you've been bullied and are currently being bullied. Let's not mention the name of who it is, and of course, I don't believe women should be fighting unless, of course, they're in MMA or UFC or boxing or something like that. So I don't think it's very ladylike for women to fight. I guess I'm from the old school. Some people may sound, I don't know what they might say, but that's the way I believe anyway. So I would not tell my daughter to go up and fight her. But of course, if if this girl was hitting on you, I would certainly not tell you to. Well, I may tell you to cover up to keep from getting hurt, but I would tell you to defend yourself with some good defense.
Yeah, in school, I remember my principal, I think it was 7th grade, when I was on the dance team. My grades were really bad, but I was getting into a lot of arguments with other girls, and she had told me that if someone hit me and I hit them back, that the officer,
Who told you that?
the principal,
The principal.
she said that if I hit another girl while if she came up and harassed
If she
me,
hit you first.
yeah, and I hit her back,
Correct.
the officer that works at our school would put me in handcuffs and take me out of school.
Well, that's
So-
what happened to Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to defend myself. I'm not allowed to. And half the time, if you, I guess, I don't know how to say the word, but if you instigate it, you can
Right.
still get in trouble.
Well, if you're the
so-
instigator, you're the one who started it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if
You mean if you're the defender, defending
if
yourself.
if the girl was coming up to me arguing and I argued back with her
Correct.
or said anything that made her mad,
Right.
and she hit me, I would have instigated it with her. We would have both been instigators.
What is that? You'd be a participator, I think. I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure
I
how
can't
you
remember
would
what the
say-
word is.
The
for it.
instigator usually is the one who starts
Yeah,
it.
who begins? Yeah.
If
but
I
you-
were to argue back or anything, I'd get put in ISS, and if she
Right.
hit me, then she would be put in OSS. I'd still get punished for it, even if I didn't hit her. If I even talked back to her and didn't walk away like they want us to, then I would get in trouble for it.
Well, I know our older son, my oldest son, Mark, as you know, he got into it with that one
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
at the school,
Yeah.
and he got broke up, I think, or he wouldn't fight because he was in trouble already, and he knew if he fought, he may end up going to jail like
Yeah.
Henry did, so he didn't. And they got it broke up, but then the teacher let the other perpetrator, I guess if you want to use the word, go, and then he went and kicked Mark in the head 4
Yeah.
or 5 times, and Mark just had to take it because he didn't want to go to jail. So that was a bad situation, and Mark usually fights, but in that case, he was in a little trouble about something else before that, and he
if-
knew it would be
yeah.
really big trouble if he fought back.
I think
so.
you told me that back then, if y'all got into a fight, like you and another person, the teachers are
school?
able to the teachers are able
Yeah,
to
they
break
can
it up.
break it up.
They can't do that. You're not
Yeah,
allowed
they're
to
not-
touch
They're
the
not
student.
supposed to until
Until
unless it gets
officer-
like super bad.
Yeah.
So,
So this kid
someone said in the comments, W setup.
What's that?
W setup. That means like
I don't understand.
cool setup.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Appreciate that. Glad you're watching.
But they're not allowed to touch the students. But I know these two kids got into a fight at school. I think a month before school ended. The teacher had to break it up because this kid got
Right,
put in a
right.
headlock.
Yeah, they can't hardly touch
Show
the
me that.
kids, can they? I mean,
No, not
No,
really.
they're not allowed to.
supposed to.
They
yeah.
can like tap them, but they're not allowed to break up the fight. They can be like, "Hey, stop!"
Yeah,
But that doesn't
right.
do anything.
Well, and one of the main reasons too, I feel like, is the teachers aren't allowed to break it up because they put their hands on a kid to pull them off
Yeah.
another one. The school can get sued. You know.
Right. I know their hands are pretty well
Mhm.
tied. I know when some of you guys got in trouble, and I went up and talked with the principal. I said the reason, actually it was Frank, is who it was. I said the reason he gets like he does is because he knows you guys can't touch him. I said
Yeah.
he doesn't act that way at home. And he said, yeah, that's right. But so they can't put the paddle on. When I was a kid, they had a paddle. They had a paddle about this big, and they would swing that sucker.
Yeah.
I never got it personally, but yeah, you didn't want to get that across your.
Well,
body.
and yeah, that's the thing. When we lived in Guatemala, Mark and Claude, they used to get the paddle when they were in Guatemala. They'd get whooped for acting out
In
or something.
school.
In school, yeah.
yeah.
In school, yeah. They would
I
get
know
punished for it.
A lot of states that's illegal nowadays.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, back to the bullying. So you were talking about this girl, and you're currently having a problem with her, and you kind of, how do I say it? When you go out, you really don't want to run into her because you might have a I know she's threatened you quite a few times. We have the text messages, and I don't know if the police will do anything about it.
Yeah.
I know your brothers could take care of it, but then that's not, so it's really kind of it's really hard to figure out how to deal with that as a parent.
You
because-
can't really do anything. Like, the reason why that person is the way they are is because of who their parents are.
And, well,
the
how
way
So-
they've been raised.
How they've been raised. Yes. So her mom right now does not care. So she can go out and fight someone, and the cops will get called and they just
And
push
she's
it
been
off.
in quite a few fights.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of them, and
Yeah.
her mom just does not care. So her mom would take her to go fight someone, which obviously as a parent is illegal. I'm pretty sure if like a
Well,
parent drive
right.
now if a parent drives their kid to go fight someone else and the cops get called, the parent gets in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Well, they can. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody can get in trouble for it.
Right.
If
So
you're trying
that,
to.
yeah, it's basically how her mom is. So the way she is because of how she was raised. So now I don't even want to leave my own house because she walks around here quite a bit.
Yeah, and I thought about going to the police with the messages, but then that may even instigate it more.
Yeah.
Somebody needs. We got a dog out here.
I got it.
I don't
That's
know
it.
who that. We we got the dog out's gonna start crying here if we don't get it
Yeah.
back in the room. So
But yeah, I definitely. I mean, I understand. I remember how it was a few times when I was bullied in school. See, the difference for me was I would go out of my. I mean, I would almost go out of my way to fight people, and the only way that I was ever able to get rid of my bullies was to stand up for myself, which either happened to be fighting or
right.
stuff like that, which I would not encourage with you, or mainly females, because or women, because it's just really not ladylike. It's not. You know, I wouldn't recommend a girl going out of her way to fight somebody.
They have to be put in Henry's room.
But yeah, I know it's difficult with someone who doesn't have parents who are so strict on them like Dad would be to us. You know, if we're going to people's houses trying to start a problem, Dad would easily take care of it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's us going out of our way to do something.
The thing with girls is like, if you try to solve the problem, like try to tell the girl, like if I told the girl, hey, I don't want this to be a problem anymore,
Right.
she'd be like, oh, well, that sucks because I'm going to fight you anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like no matter how hard I try to go up and fix it, even if I were to like try to apologize, she'd be like, I don't care. I still want to fight you. So like if I went up
Yeah.
to her in person, I wouldn't even be able to say anything. She'd
Well,
hit me.
and see, that's one of the things too. Is it's like, that's how your guys' generation, some people in my generation is too. They don't have parents who are so strict on them like you are on us. I mean, you're not super strict. You're somewhat laid back, but you make sure we're taken care of and we're not going out and getting ourselves in situations involving the police or anything like that. So that's another thing that is a challenge for our generation is the kids not having parents.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. A lot of your friends are single parent households.
Yeah.
Usually the mother.
Usually, yeah.
Almost always, and a lot of them. Some of them are even living with the grandparents
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
both of the parents are in jail, or one's gone, or OD'd,
Mhm.
or that's a common thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's very common with a lot of kids, and they're so troubled that they go out of their way to cause fights or that they act out at school. You know, they get themselves in trouble, and it's difficult because sometimes when you're just trying to go to school, I remember what it was like for me when I was in school. But when you're just trying to go to school and do your things, you have someone like that kid that was hitting me in band class. I know
Right.
he has a troubled life, and I'm just trying to go to school and do what I need to do. But then you have somebody bullying you,
Right.
and the teachers can't really do much. I mean, they can move the kid, but if the kid doesn't want to go, they can't touch
Right.
him. They can't make him leave the classroom.
Right.
But what ends up happening is you get into an encounter with people like this, and they don't care about their school life because their home life is so bad. You end up getting in a fight or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's just difficult.
Paulina.
So people's lives are like really weird.
We were talking about single parents.
Yeah, like kids like my age, they don't. I know a lot of.
What percentage of your friends have both mom and dad in the home where you see it seems like a functional, healthy family?
Maybe like, I only talk to a certain amount of people. So like, if I have like 5 friends I'm talking to, maybe like 2 or 3 have two parents that are in a nice functioning home.
Right.
Not really anybody does anymore. That's a lot of kids misbehave. So, and that's because how they were raised. Like, so a lot of my friends, they misbehave. They sneak out. They drink, and they smoke all the time.
And
and
most of them are living with their mothers
Or grandparents.
Or grandparents.
It's usually grandparents,
so
or they're
there's
in
no male guidance in the
Yeah.
house.
or they're foster kids. I have a lot of foster kid friends
Mhm.
Yeah.
because their parents. I know a lot of them. have had ODs
Yeah.
or they're in jail for drugs. It's like every one of them's usually like a drug thing, or
Right,
their parents have just passed away and they had no other family members they could go to.
Members
Yeah.
to go to.
Yeah, so a lot of them are now. I know a lot of people that are in foster care because of their parents,
Really?
because
Yeah.
they're either in a bad situation or they've passed away.
Now, and of course, you all have been, you're in a single parent household with your father, me. And so that's been about 10 years. So you've been raised without a mother. How has that been for you guys?
For me, it's. I mean, there was certain times when I was younger when
I know Mother's Day was
Yeah.
hard for you guys.
yeah, it can be difficult. One of the main things for me is when I was younger, I always wanted like my mother's love or whatever happens to be, and it was tough growing up without it. But then you get to a point where like you give us love, you give us a lot of love, and you treat us good, and you give us a good home, and you just kind of get used to it. I got used to it after a while, and what was I gonna say? It is tough. It can be tough. Certain situations, Mother's Day, it was tough at first. After our mom was gone for about a year or so, it was tough. But eventually, for me, it got easier. So
Well, I think for the boys, I think it's easier for you boys than it would
Yeah.
be for Paulina because being with your father, I know for Paulina to not have a mother, I think that's been tough because she's here with you
Mhm.
5 boys and there's really nobody for her to relate to or
Mhm.
talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Although, of course, you all can come and talk to me, as you know, and you do. We have a pretty good open communication, which I did not have with my father, but it was a different time back then. Parents just didn't
Yeah.
talk to kids like
Mm-hmm.
you can now. So, Paulina, how has it been for you?
A girl without her mom is pretty hard, especially not to have any mom figure.
Right.
So like if my sisters were around, it would be a little different because they're older and
You have 2 older sisters, but you've never lived. They
No.
don't live here.
I've never lived with them,
Yeah.
but I think it'd be a little bit easier if they were around. But not having a mom is pretty hard
Yeah.
because there's a lot of girl things that I go through that she can't be there for when I need her.
Right.
So if I wanted to talk to her about like guys, I mean I talk to you about guys, but like it's different coming from another female.
And what does your dad teach you about how to
Don't be with a
men?
simp, which is kind of how it is now because everybody's
And to value yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your value.
Yeah, and I feel like it is pretty hard, but then other times I think like if my mom was around, my life wouldn't be as good as it is now because she'd probably encourage me to go out and party and do things that I'm not supposed to at my age, but
Yeah.
like you encourage me to like not do those things. So like it's pretty easy now because I've gotten through like being a woman already. Like I've already gotten through
growing. and
me
everything.
growing and stuff.
Right.
So it's not as hard, but it was hard when I did start growing. It was pretty hard for me because she's like all the way across the world, so I
Yeah.
can't really. The FaceTime is not the same thing.
Yeah, like we said
It's
earlier.
really not the same thing at all. So me FaceTiming her and be like, oh my gosh, this just happened, and her like talking to me about it is just not the same as it would be
Right.
in person.
She were
Right.
here.
Yeah, it would be a lot different if she
Yeah.
was here.
Another thing I wanted to say too was I personally I would the way I think is I think it's better. It was better for me growing up with a father than it would have with a mother because of the fact that I can be more of a man because of you. You know, you teach me a lot of things growing up and teaching me how to be a man and how I should act and how I should be and which really I appreciated that a lot. You know, when it was Father's Day, I tell you, everybody,
Yeah.
all of us tell you how
Yeah, it was
much we
great, yeah.
appreciate you and
I
everything.
never had a relationship like that
Yeah,
with my father, but as I
and-
said, it was a different
Yeah,
time.
you taught us a lot. I mean, going out of school and everything, and giving us a job to work with you and everything, and just being around you all these years has taught me so much and has helped me grow.
Yeah.
So
I would say I'm a fortunate man to be able to have raised my 6 kids. I have these 6 kids, and I have 2 older daughters from other relationships, but I consider myself very fortunate to be able to have raised these kids by myself for the last 10 years and to have a good business, a couple of businesses, and be able to financially support them and provide for them. And that's one thing that a man is able to do that a woman a lot of times isn't able to do because their earning capacity usually, in general, is not the same as a man's. But it's because one of the reasons, too, is men are more driven, I believe. As you guys know, I work, from the time I get up to
Yeah.
the to the time I go to bed at night.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it and I love what I do, so I'm busy all day long.
Yeah,
I don't
24/7,
watch,
yeah.
24/7.
I mean, you have time to talk to us and everything,
Yeah.
but you're always busy. You stay busy. You
That's
don't.
what I'm supposed to do as a
Mhm.
man. That's my job, to take care of you.
Mhm.
And the one thing I would say about with you, Pauline, at least by having a relationship with me, it's my hope that when you get older, you will know how to have a functional relationship with a man. And the only thing that I think the drawback is without having a woman in my life or a wife or a mom for the kids is I'm not setting an example of what it's like to have a healthy relationship for the boys with a man and a woman. And that's one of the reasons that I left your mother. Their mother was because it wasn't a good example of what a healthy
Yeah.
relationship is supposed to be. Not passing judgment or fault on her or myself or anyone. That's just how it was.
Yeah.
So, but I know it's worked out well for all of us. I do believe that you can raise a kid by yourself pretty well, but not as well as if you have a man and a woman together. I just think that is the way that it works the best. That's the way it was intended to work. So I'm not here to say that I'm raising them better or just as good by myself as I would with a good mother, because I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
It takes both parents. But that's how it worked out for us, and that's where we are today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, since there's not a mom figure around, I'm basically like now I do a lot of mom things. I
Yeah,
guess
you
you
started
could say.
taking over
Yeah, that's
I,
true.
the
uh,
cooking and the cleaning.
I cook.
But you get
and-
taken care of for that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
DoorDash. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and
every day.
Waters.
Yeah.
I feel like when I get older, I'll know exactly what a guy will like in a relationship
I'm teaching you how to be
Yeah.
a good wife and a good mother.
and how to value myself.
Right, and how to value yourself and what kind of
Yes.
a man you want to get. You want to get a man that's going to be good and take care of you and be good to you and take care of your kids and provide for you.
Yeah.
Should you desire to have that?
So, other guys that I've dated, like we talked in the video that I was in last time, didn't have two parents around. They had their
Right.
mom around. They were simpy. The person I'm
They
dating,
didn't start out as simps, so did they? They started
no,
out pretty good.
they started out pretty good. They seemed more like
Yeah. That's a
they
man
they
thing,
were
huh?
taking the lead. That's
Right.
kind of what it seemed like at the beginning, and then I guess you could say they got more comfortable,
Yeah.
is what they
Mhm.
like to say, and they started acting like, oh, to date to marry.
Yeah.
So like they're
and,
like,
and you're 14, right?
yeah, I'm a
You
little
were
Yeah.
13 when you were going out with someone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really don't want to know about how
It's
many.
a little too early to be married.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, before my time.
The
maybe
person I
not.
was dating was talking about how many kids he wanted to have, where he wanted to
Yeah,
get
that
married.
turns a girl off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just doesn't sit right. I don't
Right.
like it at all because not only was he talking about how many kids he wanted to have, he was talking about where he wanted to live, when he wanted to get married, like the exact dates, the exact everything.
You know what they say? As a man, if you're in a relationship and you start talking about your future, you're not going to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start talking about your future with your girlfriend, you're not going to have
Mhm.
a future.
Yeah,
and that's a
so-
good example right there.
So now the person I'm dating, he takes lead. He doesn't talk about a future unless I'm the one who brings it up,
Right.
and we talk about it maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And he never brings it up unless I do, which is what I like because I don't want him to bring up like, oh, I want to have this many kids with you. Like we don't talk about kids or anything because we're only 14,
Right.
but we talk about like how we want to last and stuff, and how communication is like good in the relationship
Right.
because I guess now if you don't communicate, it's toxic. Is what toxic
There's the word to
relationship.
be is
Yeah.
toxic.
Toxic relationships.
Toxic.
So
Yeah.
we talk a lot about everything instead of just arguing about it.
Right.
So he takes lead and everything, but like other guys, they'd just be like people I would date, we'd get into an argument, they'd be like, okay, whatever, think what you want, and it's like,
Well, one of the
okay,
things.
well now I'm gonna think what I want because you
Yeah.
said that.
One of the things I've noticed too is that guys are, when they're dating girls, are constantly talking about how that's their whole world, and I hope you never leave me, and I hope we're together forever, and that's the thing is it's like if she becomes your main focus,
Right.
she kind of starts drawing away from you because a woman wants a man. Obviously, I mean he has to give her some sort of attention,
Right.
but he has to focus on his goals, what he has to do, what he has to take care of, just like you do with us. You focus on your business, taking care of your kids, keeping your house going, keeping us functioning, which is what a lot of men struggle with, a lot of young boys struggle with nowadays because they don't have a father. They don't
Right.
have a father figure to teach them that they need to focus on whatever their goals are, careers, anything like that.
And you've also told me that some of the houses you've been to with the girls you go out with or whatever, their fathers are really not the leader
Yeah.
of the
Oh
house.
yeah.
The mother is kind of leading the
Yeah,
house.
and that's the thing is it's like
leading the family.
yeah, I've been to friends' houses where the dad calls the woman the boss.
Yeah, that's
Which
a common thing.
yeah, they like, oh, go talk to the boss or ask the boss. And in my personal opinion, the man should be the boss of the household.
Right.
You know, he should be running it. He should be the one being called the boss. You know,
Right.
and he should be making more major decisions.
But of course, taking everybody's, or a good leader takes everybody's
Account and everything.
ideas
Yeah.
and feelings into consideration
Mhm.
before he makes a decision.
Yeah.
Someone has to make the ultimate
Yeah,
decision in
exactly.
many cases.
Mhm.
And the woman really doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Now, they may say they do, but they want the man to lead.
Yeah.
They want
That's
him
true.
to be there because he will be
And that's the thing.
responsible for
I mean, I know what it's like when I lead my relationship. My girl's happier. She's
Yeah.
happier the way
because
when
she feels your strength.
Yeah.
She trusts you. She knows you're going to take care of her
Mhm.
and take care of whatever needs to be
yeah,
taken care of.
exactly. Yeah.
And as a man, you need to be leading.
Mhm.
You need to have that inner strength.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and it's like, if I would have, the other day my cat died, you know, no, he
Right.
passed away or whatever, and if I would have fallen and crumbled, my girlfriend probably would have thought I'm a bit weak, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's okay to be upset about it, but to sit there and she's depending on me to be the strong one when
Right.
she's upset. She's
Right.
dependent
Yeah,
on,
she needs you.
yeah, because she wants me to be the one holding her.
Right.
She doesn't want to have to be holding me because
she doesn't
I'm.
want to have to be your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Is it's like I was strong enough. I, kept a good, power, and showed strength to her, and because it was upsetting moment for both of us, but I kind of just held her, and
Right.
whatever happened to be, but I was just being strong, whatever everything you taught me as well.
Well, it's like you kids. If I was crying in front of you kids all the time, or I come home and say, "Man, work's kind of slow. I don't know if we're gonna make it."
Yeah.
Well, you guys wouldn't feel very safe and
Yeah,
secure here, would you?
exactly.
I mean, I think it's selfish as a man to come home and share that with his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
You need to share that with your mentor or your best friend, or there's nothing wrong with crying, but there's a time and a place for everything.
Exactly.
And if I'm doing that in front of you, and if I had a wife here all the time, you guys won't feel very safe.
Mhm.
Because as a man, it's up to me to say, you know what? I don't have much work right now, but we're going to make it
Yeah.
somehow. I'll figure it out. Even if I don't feel like I can do
Yeah,
it.
and that's the
And
thing.
we've had some hard times here. I remember right
Mhm.
after we first moved in here, I was thinking, man, we should have stayed back where we was.
Yeah.
But
Or
now we're good
sometimes when you
today.
have bills, I know sometimes
Yeah.
you might be struggling or something like that, but you're always confident. You're like, well, I'll figure it out, and you always do. You always
Yeah.
you always figure it out and everything. And
I don't always feel like I'm going to figure
yeah,
it out.
and that's the thing. It's like it makes me feel safe in a
Right,
home. It doesn't make me
right.
feel like
And that's my job as a leader in the family.
yeah. It doesn't
to
make
do
me
that.
feel like oh well maybe I need to do something or
Or you're going to be out on the street.
yeah, exactly. And obviously I help you out and everything, but it makes me feel more comfortable when I know that you are able to take care of us
Right.
and whatever happens to be.
Right.
Another thing, providing protection as well.
Right, provide provision and protection.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
the man's job.
Exactly. Yeah.
Paulina, you had something you wanted
I
to
was gonna
share?
say something about the a guy being a leader in a relationship.
Right.
So Henry was talking about guys making a girl their main priority and the only thing they focus on. So the person I'm dating now, he doesn't do that.
How do you feel when they do that?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's
why
like
does that bother you?
Because
I would think I know this, but
they
a lot of guys think that you want to be the main focus, and you want to. I mean, oh God, he loves me so much. I want a guy
Mhm.
that just worships. I want a guy that treats me like a queen.
Exactly.
yeah, like being the main priority is like they depend everything on you.
Yeah.
So like it's
Makes you feel
weird.
suffocated,
It's,
yeah.
it's like you're in a relationship you kind of can't get out of.
Yeah.
So the guy I'm dating now, he plays football, and football's like his dream thing.
Right.
I guess, yeah. And he always tells me, like, we're talking about football, and I'll make a joke, and I'll be like, oh, would you choose football over me? The minute I say that, he's like, no. Which is obviously what I like, because I wouldn't want a guy
Right.
to be like, I drop everything for you. I drop
Yeah.
everything, like football. I'd even drop out of school for you. Like, I
Yeah.
don't like that, but he's like, I would pick football over you. So it's like,
touching it.
I just don't like being the main priority.
Yeah.
So he doesn't make it like that. Like, he obviously makes sure if I'm upset I'm okay, but it's not like he I don't know how to say it. He doesn't make me his main priority. That's it.
Right.
I just don't like being the main priority in a relationship. It's like I'm suffocated in a relationship that
Yeah.
I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Well, then, and on top of that too, it probably makes you feel like if you don't act a certain way towards him, he's gonna get upset. He's depending on the way you
Yeah.
feel to make him feel a certain way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
Which I've
exactly
been in
how
the
it
same
is.
situation before.
I fell into that too myself.
Yeah.
I've made a girl too important. She wasn't my main priority when it come right down to it, but I still was putting too much importance on the relationship. Actually, that I believe is the woman's job to take care of the relationship too. If you're dating, she's the one that should bring up, oh, where are we going with this? If she wants to be your girlfriend, like for you guys, or are we going to get married? Whatever it happens to be down the road. So
Yeah. But yeah, like back to the main topic we were talking about, like a few challenges we have, nowadays too. Is it's like women having respect for themselves.
right.
I've gone out with
OnlyFans.
yeah. Well, that's a good example. Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, I've gone out. They get so much free attention,
Right.
from Instagram or whatever happens to be.
Likes.
Yeah. And they don't have to do much. They don't have to have, a guy for themselves.
Digital addiction. I heard
Uh-huh.
that the other day.
Which I'm not saying that a girl has to have a guy all the time,
Right.
but it's when they get all this free attention. What would they do if it all of a sudden everything crashed? The internet
Right.
crashed. They didn't have it. It would be hard for them.
Yeah, it's free validation.
Mhm.
Attention is the coin of gold for women.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's a lot of famous people in relationships with boyfriends, and the boyfriend just lets him do whatever, like OnlyFans. Like
right.
he just lets him do that. Like if I was a guy or something and I had a girlfriend and she was doing OnlyFans, I wouldn't even want to because that's
Yeah,
like
I
just
wouldn't like
sharing
that
your
either.
girlfriend. That's like having an open
Yeah.
relationship. It's weird.
Well, I knew nothing about social media until I dated this last girl from South America, and she had like 18,000 followers on Instagram.
Mhm.
And if I had to do it all over again, I would. And there's the dog. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would have. I would have did something different as far as
Yeah.
her being
Yeah.
on Instagram. But I knew nothing about it. I was ignorant of all that messaging and all that. And I made the mistake too of messaging too much because I knew
Yeah.
nothing about. I knew nothing about social media, about
Yeah.
messaging, texting. There's a whole science behind that.
Well, speaking of which, now that we're on the topic of like texting and everything, emojis.
Yeah,
That's
let's
a
talk
big
about
thing. I
emojis.
mean, and that's the thing for me personally. I believe that as a man, you really shouldn't be like you said, coming home and telling her, I don't know how if we're gonna make it, or
Right.
because that's one of the things that makes people feel unsafe, kids or wife or whatever happens to be. But
As a man, you need to have control over your emotions,
Yeah.
and there's a time and a place.
exactly,
to
and
express them.
if you're texting and you're using emojis, it's the same thing as telling her how you feel all the time,
Exactly.
24/7. Like if you were sending hearts or kissy faces or different types of emojis to
But
show.
yet you've experienced a woman telling you, just share your feelings.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
when
yeah.
and then what happens when you do share
I mean,
your feelings?
yeah, there's been times when I've shared my emotions or how I feel about certain things, and I've seen that. I mean, they look at me differently. They don't treat me the same. I've been
like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah, I've been disrespected before because I would constantly share my feelings, and it got to a point where when I was sharing my feelings, one of the girls that I was with disrespected me and pretty much was saying, "What are you gonna do about it?" Because she
Right.
knew that I cared for her, and she knew that well, I might not do anything because I care about you so much. I'm not gonna
Right.
kick you out or make you leave because I'm afraid of whatever happens to be.
Right, afraid of being by yourself.
Yeah.
Afraid you won't be able to replace her. afraid-
Exactly, which ended up having me breaking up with my significant other at the
Right.
time. But yeah, I mean they can get pretty unruly and disrespectful.
Yeah. Now, what about you, Pauline? Do you want a guy who shares his emotions with you all the
Uh,
time?
it's good to communicate, but I don't want him to be like, if he's like upset about something, I don't want him to be like, well, I just feel like we should fix this and work on it together, and like just like being a little baby about it. I don't
Right.
want him to be like that,
Right.
because then it's like, okay, well, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. So
Yeah.
like obviously communicating is good, but like being sad about something, and like if you were to come to me crying about something that I did, like being really upset and being a baby about it, I'd just be like, okay, like it would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It would put me in a bad situation, because then like it's like, okay, well, what am I? What
Well,
do you
that's
want
the
me
thing.
to
If he
do?
came crying to you, it's like he's depending on you to make him feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, as a man, you shouldn't depend on somebody else to make you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the main struggles that, and I've done it before. It's like you want someone
Yeah,
to
I
be,
have too.
you want somebody to be a certain way so you can feel good, so you can
Yeah,
feel better,
exactly.
and that doesn't work. You have to.
Happiness, is an inside job.
Yeah, it
It's all
is.
an
It
inside
does.
job.
It starts inside, and from there on out, whatever happens, if the person's if they're acting out or not acting right, you should still be happy. You can not be happy with their choices,
Right.
but you can be happy with yourself. You can't depend on somebody else to make you happy.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's why like with a girl, like I don't open up to them anymore, cause like it's not a thing that I want to do in a relationship, cause then it just makes you look like you're not the alpha male in the relationship anymore.
That's exactly
And
why
that's
guys
why-
get cheated on.
Yeah, it's why I don't.
Because
Yeah,
Why do you
Because-
think they get cheated?
Because of the fact that like if you're talking to a girl and you start crying to her about it, she's obviously gonna want somebody else who's more manly and
Right.
doesn't cry about things,
Right.
and that's usually why the guy gets cheated on for crying about something and trying to express his emotions and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly why girls go out and try to find somebody better.
But doesn't society today tell us in the media to express? You need to express.
Yeah, it's
yourself
like-
as a
Tell
man.
her how you feel.
Tell
all the
her how
time,
you
know?
feel.
Like if a girl's asking you like I want to know how you feel, it's not like express everything out. Don't lay it all on the
He
table.
doesn't want to know everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to know everything, like, because then it just leads on. And, like, if I were to be upset about something and he was upset about something too, he would try to relate his stuff to mine. So then it's like, okay, well, I might as well just not share what I'm upset about because you're just making it about you.
Right.
So that's half the reason, well, mainly the reason why all guys get cheated on. And
Yeah.
then everybody's like, all girls are the same.
yeah, and
It's
like
okay,
at
then
the same time though, like when you ask a girl to like express her emotions to you, they don't do it.
Right.
Like it's like you're like, okay, so you're asking me to open up, but you're not gonna do it yourself, and they just like want to keep everything. And when you ask them like, what's wrong, they're like, nothing, it's fine. And then
But
it's
don't you
like,
like a little mystery, Frank? You don't want to know everything about
yeah,
this.
I know, I realize that, but at the same time, like if a girl's texting me or taking a picture and like sending a video of her crying, like, and I'm not gonna ask her what's wrong. Like if she's gonna take a video of her crying, she could just tell me.
She might as well tell
Like
you
she could
what's
just tell me
wrong.
what's wrong.
I mean, it is good to ask a girl what's wrong, but like you can't just be sending it. Like girls can't just be sending videos to guys of them just bawling their eyes out if you're
But
not
they
gonna.
do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've experienced it.
I've
I've got
done-
some of those videos
I've done that
myself.
I've done that before, and a guy's just not gonna be like, "What's wrong?" Like some guys do
I
ask
usually
that.
do ask what's
Some
wrong.
some guys do ask that, but then other guys just don't care. Like if you're gonna tell them what's wrong, then they'll know. They're not just
well,
gonna
see,
like.
one of the things I've ran into before is that girl will send a video like that and I ask them what's wrong, I'm like, nothing.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
I think ask once they want to talk
Yeah.
about it, fine.
Yeah.
If they don't,
If they don't, then that's
It's up to
fine,
them.
but I'm not going to sit there and go out of my way, well, tell me,
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
then sometimes guys are just like, guys are just sitting there and not asking a girl what's wrong. She's like, okay, so you're just not gonna ask me what's wrong.
yeah.
But like
But then if
you
you
were
do
to
ask,
ask her,
yeah.
she's like, nothing, I'm fine, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But like if you don't ask her, she's like, okay, well, F you, like you're just not gonna tell me what's wrong, okay? And it's like, and then the guy usually ends up getting blocked by the female. It's so funny.
yeah, well, that's interesting. Hearing that from a girl's point of view.
Yeah, it's weird.
But what other challenges do you guys run into?
Social media stuff can be very difficult. You get shown this life that
Ah,
yeah, it's like, oh, you can have this and you can have that, but you got to work hard and you got to keep going,
The
or-
grind.
Yeah,
The
or
grind.
another
The
thing.
grind isn't
Another
fun.
thing too is you see people's lives and how like famous actors, stars, and everything, and they make it seem like all
It's
they
so
had to do
easy.
was take 3 easy steps. But then
Yeah.
you do those 3
Yeah.
easy steps and you're not there or wherever happens to
30
be.
seconds that they
Yeah.
show you. They don't show you when they're home arguing with the wife.
Mhm.
The kids are giving them trouble, or the kid's not home. At
They
10
make it
o'clock.
seem like there's no struggle or like there's
Right.
no. I mean, that's the thing. You have to go through struggle to build character and to become a better person, so you can achieve more. I mean,
Right.
you don't just wake up one day and you're okay. I'm gonna make $1 million right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes time and it can take effort, and you have to go through the struggles because you could. I mean, let's say you do wake up one day and get $1 million, and you don't have the mindset of a millionaire. You'll end up wasting the money on.
Exactly. You won't have it lined. Say
Yeah.
if you win $1 million, you better become a
Yeah,
millionaire.
millionaire. Yeah, exactly.
Because they say if you take all the money away from everybody in the world and distribute it evenly, that in 5 years it'll be back into the hands of the people that had it
Yeah.
because of the mentality. You can take a person out of the poverty, but you can't take the poverty out of the
yeah.
person. Only that person can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And some people do it. But many times I've tried to help people and brought them up, but they don't rise in consciousness or they don't change their mentality and personality. And they still have the poverty mentality or the barrio mentality or whatever it happens to be. And you just can't do it. They have to be willing
Yeah.
to help themselves.
And that's the thing too, is it's like if someone doesn't have that mindset and they get put in this situation with a lot of money or good housing, whatever it happens to be, they end up destroying it. They end up sabotaging. Yeah,
Self-sabotage because they don't know
Exactly.
what to do. They don't feel like they deserve it. They're not accustomed to it.
Yeah, a lot of famous people who say it's like really easy to be who they are. It's all for like publicity and stuff.
Right.
So like half the relationships that people are in, like it's usually just for the fans and stuff. Like I know a couple of YouTube families who the guy goes out and cheats on the girl all the time, but she just doesn't care because
But what do they present on social media? Perfect
that
family?
yeah
Is
that they're a perfect
Yeah,
family
perfect
because
family.
there's like 3 kids and then there's the mom and there's the dad, and they go out and cheat on each other because
they're probably both
they're tired.
unhappy, yeah.
They're tired of each other. So, but when it comes to social media, it's for publicity.
Yeah, and that's
so
the thing. Yeah, and
they don't
social
show
media,
it.
people can make it seem like they're having the best time in the world, but behind the screen, they could be like upset or having the worst day of their lives. Or
Yeah, they don't put the hard days.
yeah,
in there, do they?
exactly. They put the days when you're going out to.
But there are some of the
Cali or-
guys on there that are honest. I know. And
Yeah.
They tell you that they've struggled and hard work.
Yeah, I
but-
mean there is people like that,
Right.
definitely, but for the most part, people present themselves on social media like millionaires, you know.
Yeah, and I know some people like that too. They have the social media presence, and they don't want people to know who they really are.
Yeah.
Personally, I've known a couple of
Yeah.
people like that, and they prefer superficial relationships. But in my opinion, I have really good relationships with my clients and different people, and it's all about relationships. My success in business is not so much my skill of what I do, but the skill I have in dealing with people.
Yeah.
My relationships I build with clients and people, and helping different people, and doing things that I don't get paid for.
Yeah.
Spending time talking to clients, and sometimes when I bid a job, I mean, I get the job, or I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I stay there and I talk to the people. I'm interested in people. I ask questions and I ask them how their life is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you talk to people a lot. You're a very social person. You talk to a lot of people, and that's the thing. Is like if you want to become more a successful person, you have to know how to talk to people.
Exactly.
But if you have social anxiety, which generally comes from staying inside all the time and not talking to not communicating with many people or
Right.
having conversations like that, you can't succeed as well. You know, I mean,
It's kind of like saying, I can't walk very well, but I never get up and walk.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to walk. I have anxiety about
Yeah.
walking, but I don't want to get up and walk 5 miles a day.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly.
But that's
yeah.
about the only way you can get over the social anxiety is to go out there and socialize. Go ahead.
I'm gonna make sure something real quick. If anybody that's watching can tell me if you can hear us or not.
Okay. I hope so.
Yeah, I
Yeah, we
hope
was
so
talking this whole
because
time,
it's not popping up on the Streamlabs, so I don't know if they can hear us or not.
Oh, gee. Well, I guess we'll find out. But you said somebody commented.
There's a lot of comments.
Oh, okay.
Like-
well, sure. Somebody would say, hey, we can't hear you, I would think.
Yeah, but I mean, we got 4 people in here. I just need to know if they can hear us or
Well,
not.
anyway, we'll go on. And I guess if they won't hear us, we'll
Yeah.
cut it off.
Yeah.
This is our first time, so bear with us. We've only got a few mics working. We hope maybe next Saturday we plan on having a full house here, and we're not sure what the topic will be yet, but we will have it. So
Okay. They can hear us.
Oh,
Gabe.
great. Hey.
Gabe.
Hey.
They
Hey.
will let us know.
Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it.
Gabriel.
So, Paula, you were talking about something. What were we
The
speaking?
publicity thing.
Oh, the publicity.
Yeah, the family that
social media. Oh, yeah.
the family that's doing that right now, the guy is getting exposed for it.
Right.
So the lies are being caught up with him. Like all his lies are coming out.
Right.
The truth is coming out now on social media because everybody thought that their family was perfect, and now there's a girl that he slept with, posting like proof and stuff that they slept together. So it's just going all out there, which obviously the two people, the parents, they knew that. So like the guy and the girl that they were dating, they obviously knew they were both cheating on each other, but now that it's out there, they're probably going to end up breaking up because they're going to get a lot of hate for it.
So how does this affect you? How does that affect you when you see things like that?
I feel like that's something that will happen to me in the future. Like, I feel like I'll get tired of, like, say I went on with my singing career.
Right.
And I became, like, famous or something, and I was dating somebody, and we got tired of each other, but we were doing it for publicity.
Yeah.
We were doing it for that. I wouldn't want that to be a thing with me. Like, I wouldn't want that to
Keep a
happen.
picture of.
Well, you wouldn't want to keep up the facade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
No,
want
you
to
don't
do
want
that.
to do that.
But
So
that's-
that way you won't.
But then
Yeah.
it also affects my career, because then it's like half the time when that happens, it's not only blamed on the person who was doing it, it was blamed on the person who wasn't doing anything, because then it's like, oh, well, it's your fault for not.
Well, if you were participating in the charade,
Yeah.
that's where integrity comes in.
Yeah.
Integrity and character comes with trials and tribulations.
And that's the thing, yeah. Like that's another thing. Like with social media, that people put up a facade. They keep going. Whatever happens to be. Like Polina is talking about the family. They want to be the happy, go-lucky family.
Right.
But it helps them make money or do what they have to do. And if they both are cheating on each other or whatever happens to be, they want to keep up the, lie or whatever, because
Yeah.
they want everybody to see this frame that they don't have. And that's the thing that people do a lot of days in social media, is keep up a frame even if they're not that person.
Right.
If, like, let's say if someone's
But eventually it comes out because
Yeah.
it lacks in.
Because they have a YouTube channel, and that's how they get paid, basically,
Yeah.
by doing YouTube. So if they broke up and stopped doing YouTube, they wouldn't get paid as much. They wouldn't be as famous. They'd get
Right.
canceled.
Well, everybody has struggles. We've had our struggles. There are no perfect families, so I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing that with people. Sometimes actually it could have brought them actually more
peace.
more peace and more followers, subscribers,
Yeah.
whatever it is, more fans. Heck, we were on welfare 10 years ago, and I would have
Yeah.
never thought I would have been there because I had to take care of my father. I couldn't work, and we were living in a 1976 trailer. So we've come a long way. Like I said, I'm fortunate to have skills where I could get out of that, but I'm not ashamed of it. It was actually a good, humbling, humiliating
Yeah.
experience for me. Because I remember when I was younger, I would see people in an old trailer. I think, why don't they do something with themselves?
Yeah.
So it taught me in life sometimes that things happen that you feel like you have no control over. And I realized I may not have had any control over them when they happened, but it was brought on by my thinking. So I created those situations, but I look at it as a good thing because it taught me humility. It built character through the struggles. And it also helps me to relate to people who are on welfare, on assistance, who just can't seem to get out of it.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have a skill where I could work my way out of it, but I could see what a trap that is, because when you're getting free food and actually free cash, that's kind of feels like a form of security.
Yeah.
But there is no security in money or anything, and many people think there is, because even like during the Civil War, you guys probably don't know, but the Confederate money one day was not worth anything. One day it was worth something, then all of a sudden it wasn't worth anything. So, and that could happen to our money here also. So there is no security except the security you find within yourself or within God, your higher power, divinity, whatever it is you choose to believe in, higher self. Security comes from within each of us, not from something outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think you all spoke about that earlier, how a woman or a man can become so important to you that you find that being the center of your life. And what happens when that person leaves or feels like they're being constricted and they leave, and then you feel like your world is broken because you were finding your security and your whole life is wrapped up in this one person. So anytime you invest yourself too much into another person, another thing, whether it be money or material things, it's a dangerous, slippery slope, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who like to say that you need to love yourself before you let anybody else love you, because it's like, if you don't love yourself when you get into a relationship, you depend on that person to make you self-confident. So like, say you're not confident about yourself at all, and the person you're dating makes you feel confident, and once you guys break up, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's why you have to, be more a confident person alone. You have to kind of work yourself up and become a happy, confident, and a person who doesn't expect all these other people to be a certain way so they can be a certain way,
Right.
But yeah, you have to be happy alone before you can be happy with somebody else.
I see that in the world today, and I've done it myself
Yeah,
in my life.
exactly. Yeah.
A lot of people wanting everybody to change so they can be okay. Certain groups of people out there, they want to be treated in this way or talked to in this way or addressed in a certain way, and to me it seems like that they think that if people act this way toward them, that then they'll be happy. But then, as you've said before, Henry, it's then they get that, and then it's something else.
Yeah.
It's like seeking for security and happiness and contentment from something outside
Of
yourself.
yourself.
And
Yeah.
it's a never-ending journey because the only way you can find it is within yourself. And like Paulina said, you have to love yourself before you can love someone else, because obviously you can't transmit what you haven't got.
Yeah.
And those who go looking for love only
Mhm.
become unlovely. You just don't. You can't attract something to yourself that isn't within you 1st. It comes off as needy, is what happens when you get into a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, also like confidence is like a really big thing now. So like I was watching this video earlier and it was a streamer and this guy asked him, he's like, "Why are you so cocky?" And he's like, "Because I'm confident." And so like in the like I would say like the video game part of the thing, well uh the more confident you are, the like better you can do in a certain point. So like me, I'm like super confident when it comes to like games. So like I know I'm like so confident to the point where I know I'm gonna be able to beat this person
Right.
or be able to do something or like get money out of the game. So the more confidence I have, the better I do.
Yeah. Each of you have your own talents. Like Henry is wise beyond his years, and he picks up on things very quickly. Paulina is a great singer. She could do something with that. Frank is the athlete. He can do anything. I mean, I've seen him do some crazy stuff
Right.
because
Yes.
he's not afraid to try.
Yeah.
I mean, he did flips over this 5 foot off this 5 foot fence we have out here, and then you were doing flips over the firecrackers.
He did
last
flips
night,
over
so.
firecrackers, and then he did a flip over one of the fountain.
He's not
things.
afraid. I think today we try to be so safe that we forget the adventure.
Yeah, and
we
I'm
all
so-
have an adventurous spirit, but we're like, oh, you better put your helmet, better put your shin guards on. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we become so safe, we've lost our spirit of adventure and spontaneity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like another thing about confidence is like everything I've learned is I've been I taught myself that. So like I was so confident that like even no matter how many times I got hurt, I still got up and tried
Well,
it
you're
again until I
persistent.
got it.
You're determined, you're
Yeah.
stubborn, you're bullheaded. I remember one day we were walking out and I said, "You're bullheaded," and I thought, I haven't heard that since I was a kid. They used to call me that too, but that can be such a great trait because you persist and you persevere. You don't give up when other people would have given up, and that's served me well in life. If you can just turn that in the right direction towards whatever it is you want to achieve in life, because persistence is all powerful, and that also shows the confidence and belief in yourself that you can do something. You have to have the belief, and your persistence comes from that belief. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. I think we did a
Yep.
pretty good job for our first podcast. I am grateful for all of you who have joined me. Smash that like button and subscribe. I have a video coming out every day on my YouTube channel, which I know will be of value to you. Share this with a friend. We'll have it posted later. My son Frank's going to take care of that. I only know how to do all this. I don't know how to do this. I'm just learning, but because my kids taught me. I had no idea what a hashtag was, a thumbnail. I mean, I was ignorant of social media until the last couple of years, so I've learned all this, and I'm continuing to learn. So we will hone down this podcast and make it better and come up with topics that are of more value to you that can help you in your life, and that's what I want to do is help you. I learned that by helping others, I help myself. So whatever I share with you that will be of help to you just reinforces in myself what I need to remember and what I need to practice. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys next Saturday.